Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to the English room in my channel Mr. Master Yoga. This session is presented by Mandua Kota Malang, Indonesia. Jujur, percaya diri, berprestasi. This instructional video is produced as part of the effort to provide online learning resources, especially for madrasah students all over Indonesia. Madrasah hebat, bermartabat. In this edition, we are going to learn English with the topic present passive voice. This topic is studied by grade 10, semester 1 and 2. For compulsory English or Bahasa Inggris wajib, this is studied in semester 1. And for elective English or Bahasa Inggris peminatan, this is for semester 2. The basic competence for this topic is analyzing and understanding the social function, concept, and construct of passive voice. In discussing about this topic, we use two different books. Book 1 is for compulsory English. You guys can use Bahasa Inggris for grade 10 by Kemendikbud. It's on chapter 5, page 75 to 76. And for elective English or Bahasa Inggris peminatan, you guys can use Pathway to English 1 by Erlangga publisher. You can check chapter 11 on page 240. We also use some other relevant books to support our discussion about this topic. Okay, I'm going to start by discussing about the concept of passive voice in general. However, in this session, we will focus only on discussing about present passive voice. This part is very important to give you ideas of what passive voice is like. One thing to underline is that if you want to study about passive voice, you really have to understand about the active voice or active sentence. Later, we are going to go through some examples of both passive and active voice in simple present tense. Then we will wrap up our discussion by discussing about why passive voice is used. Are you guys ready? Let's get started. Okay, in order to understand about the concept of passive voice, we will start by learning about the steps in constructing or in forming passive voice. There are 5 steps to form or to construct passive voice. Step 1. Identify the subject, verb, and object of the active sentence. For example, Mumtaz writes an essay. Okay, let's identify the subject is Mumtaz. The verb, the present verb here, we have writes, verb 1. And then the object is an essay. Okay, so we have to be clear about the subject, verb, and object in the active sentence. That's step 1. Now step 2. Move the object of the active sentence to become the new subject of the passive sentence or passive voice. So in other words, we can say the object of an active voice is now the subject of its corresponding passive voice. Let's check the example. Mumtaz writes an essay. That's the active sentence. And we know that the object is an essay. So we move the object an essay here to become the new subject in the passive voice. Then the sentence will say, an essay is written by Mumtaz. Please notice that after the subject of the passive sentence, we have to be is and past participle verb or verb 3. Okay, then followed by an agent. The subject of the active sentence is not the subject anymore, but now he is the agent in the passive sentence. Okay, next step is step 3. Check the verb tense of the active sentence. This is really important because passive voice is used across many different tenses, so you have to check the verb tense of the active sentence to make your passive sentence correct. Next step is step 4. Use be in the passive voice by referring to the main verb of the active sentence, or by referring to the tense of the active sentence and the new subject of the passive voice. In this session, I will show you the summary of the be in passive voice in different tenses. If the main verb on the verb tense is in simple present, so the passive be will be either am, is, or are. If the verb tense is in past or simple past, then the passive be will be either was or were. If the verb tense is in continuous form or continuous tense, so the be in passive voice will be being. If the verb tense is in perfect, then the passive be will be been. If there is future or modal auxiliary in the sentence, so we will use passive be But in this session, we will only focus on discussing about present passive voice. So we will use passive be, am, is, or are. Let's check the example. Mumtaz writes an essay. So we have identified in the first step that Mumtaz is the subject, writes is the verb, and an essay is the object. The sentence is an active sentence in simple present tense. So we will use either passive be, am, is, or are. Okay. Now, in step 2, we have learned that the object of an active sentence is now changed to be the subject of the passive sentence. So the passive voice of the sentence is an essay is. We used to be is because this is simple present, and the subject is an essay. An essay is written. This is past participle verb or verb 3. An essay is written by Mumtaz. So after to be is, we have participle verb or verb 3 written. That's the passive voice of the sentence. Okay. So now the last step, step 5. Use the past participle verb of the main verb after be. Yeah, we have checked in the previous sentence that after to be is in the passive voice, we have verb 3 written. So the general pattern of passive voice is subject plus be plus verb 3. But if you want to make it complete passive voice, we'll have subject plus be plus verb 3 plus by plus agent. So when the agent is clear or obvious, we can use it in the passive voice. So the sentence will be, an essay is written by Mumtaz. So please always remember that the passive voice always uses the combination of be plus past participle verb or verb 3. Okay, students, now let's study some other sentences in present active and passive voice. Sentence 1. Mr. Yusuf chooses 5 students to join a competition. So first of all, let's identify the sentence. The subject is Mr. Yusuf and the verb is chooses. The object is 5 students to join a competition. So like we discussed before, that the object of an active sentence is now moved to be the subject of a passive voice. So in the passive voice, we'll say 5 students are chosen. We used to be are because the subject is now 5 students. 5 students are chosen, verb 3, by Mr. Yusuf to join a competition. Okay? Let's check another sentence. Someone eats my cake. The object is my cake. So this object is now moved to be the subject. My cake is eaten. Okay? Well, because someone is not very clear agent, so we can either include it or exclude it from the sentence. So we can say my cake is eaten. But if you want to make it complete, you can say my cake is eaten by someone. So we used to be is because now the subject is my cake. And we have verb 3 eaten. My cake is eaten by someone. Now let's check the next sentence. Someone vandalizes the building. The object of the sentence is the building. So we move the building here, we move the object here to be the subject of the passive voice. The building is vandalized. We used to be is because now the subject is the building and this is simple present. So the building is vandalized, verb 3. You can include by someone or you can just leave it because the most important thing is the building that is vandalized. Okay, dear students, after learning from some example of sentences in both active and passive voice, the question is, why do we use passive voice? Right. Passive voice is used for at least 3 different reasons. Number 1, to change the focus of the sentence. In active sentence, sometimes the object of the sentence is the most interesting or most important part. So we need to change to move the object to be the subject in the passive sentence. Well, this is especially very important in written English. Reason number 2, to have sentence variety or variation in sentences. Imagine that when you write article, then you make it all active sentences, your article will be very boring. So we need to have the variation of sentences, and using passive voice is the way. Alright? So reason number 3, to have a good coherence and flow. So to make our sentences more understandable and flow from one sentence to another sentence, or from one idea to another idea, so we use this passive voice to make our writing more enjoyable to read. In short, passive voice is mostly used in formal English and not personal. Okay, dear students, that's very much the end of our discussion about present passive voice. I really hope you guys learned something from this very short session. Now, please get back to your books and do the practices there. Thank you so very much for joining my session. See you again in the next session. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.